Japan is known for its efficiency, innovation, and orderliness. Yet, there's one statistic that sets it apart even more starkly. Its homeless population rate is officially near zero. In a world where homelessness is a growing crisis, particularly in the countries like the United States, Japan's low numbers seem almost miraculous. But beneath these glowing figures lies a troubling reality. The country's approach to homelessness is far more complicated and raises questions about societal expectations, government policies, and cultural stigmas. The reality reveals that Japan's solution is not necessarily a success story, but a cautionary tale of hidden struggles and systemic issues. How does Japan maintain such low homeless numbers? Japan's official homeless population is reported at around 3,000 people, or 0.003% of its 125 million residents. Compared to countries like Switzerland or South Korea, which also boast relatively low homelessness rates, Japan's numbers are astonishingly low. The United States, by contrast, has over 500,000 homeless individuals, or roughly 0.17% of its population. But how does Japan maintain this seemingly enviable statistic? Several factors contribute to these numbers, including societal attitudes, government policies, and economic structures, cultural stigma, and social pressures. In Japanese culture, homelessness is deeply stigmatized. It is often seen as a personal failure rather than a systemic issue. Homeless individuals are perceived as having brought their situation upon themselves, making compassion for them uncommon. This stigma is compounded by traditional gender roles, as most of Japan's homeless population consists of men. Men are expected to be breadwinners, and failure to fulfill this role often results in shame and social ostracism. Many homeless men withdraw from society entirely, avoiding public spaces and interactions to escape judgment. Hostile architecture and urban policies. Japan's cities employ subtle but effective measures to deter homelessness. Public spaces often feature hostile architecture, such as benches with armrests that prevent lying down, or parks that are locked at night. These designs make it nearly impossible for homeless individuals to find refuge in urban areas. Begging is also outlawed, pushing the homeless further into obscurity. Unlike in many Western countries, where public displays of poverty are visible, Japan's homeless population is largely hidden from view. Robust healthcare and low drug dependency. Another factor often cited is Japan's healthcare system and strict drug laws. Universal healthcare ensures that mental health issues are treated in institutions rather than leaving individuals to fend for themselves on the streets. Additionally, Japan has some of the strictest drug laws in the world, with only 1.6% of the population having ever used illegal substances. By comparison, nearly half of all Americans report trying illicit drugs. This drastically reduces the role of substance abuse in homelessness, which is a significant factor in other countries. Housing supply and affordability. Unlike many Western nations, Japan has fewer restrictions on housing construction. The country builds more homes than any other developed democracy, ensuring a steady supply of affordable housing. This policy has kept housing costs relatively low, reducing one of the primary drivers of homelessness: the dark reality of hidden homelessness. While the official numbers are impressive, they only tell part of the story. Beneath the surface lies a growing population of hidden homeless individuals who are excluded from government statistics. These people are not living on the streets, but are still without stable housing. The rise of cybercafe refugees. A striking example of hidden homelessness in Japan is the phenomenon of net cafe refugees. Since the economic downturn of the 1990s, many individuals have been unable to secure stable, full-time employment. Known as Japan's lost generation, these individuals often survive on low-paying temporary or part-time jobs, unable to afford even Japan's relatively affordable housing. For these individuals, 24-hour internet and manga cafes serve as makeshift homes. These establishments, originally intended for late-night entertainment, offer small cubicles where patrons can sleep, shower, and even eat. Over time, they have evolved into informal homeless shelters. Staying in these cafes is not cheap. A single night can cost between $17 and $28, which quickly adds up for those earning minimum wage. Yet, for many, it is preferable to the shame of sleeping on the streets. In 2020, an estimated 15,000 people lived in cybercafes in Tokyo alone, 5 times the number of officially homeless individuals nationwide. This stark disparity highlights how Japan's homelessness crisis is hidden rather than solved. Economic inequality and the lost generation. The roots of this crisis trace back to Japan's economic collapse in the 1990s. When the stock and real estate bubbles burst, millions of people were left without stable employment. Over 22 million Japanese workers, roughly a third of the workforce, are now employed in part-time or temporary roles. These jobs often pay only the minimum wage, leaving workers trapped in a cycle of poverty. Without a permanent address, many cannot secure full-time employment, creating a vicious loop that keeps them on the margins of society. The shame of poverty. Unlike in Western countries, where homeless individuals might rely on visible support systems like shelters or food banks, Japan's homeless population goes to great lengths to remain invisible. Many strive to maintain a clean, well-kept appearance to avoid the societal stigma attached to poverty. This invisibility allows the government to claim low homelessness rates while ignoring the broader issue of economic inequality. It is a problem that remains out of sight and out of mind. Global comparisons and lessons. Japan's approach to homelessness offers both lessons and warnings for other countries. On the positive side, its focus on housing supply and strict drug laws has minimized some of the factors that contribute to homelessness. Universal healthcare also ensures that individuals with severe mental illnesses are cared for. However, the cultural stigma surrounding poverty and the reliance on hostile architecture raise ethical questions. Addressing homelessness by pushing it out of sight does not solve the underlying issues. In comparison, countries like Finland have adopted the Housing First model, which prioritizes providing stable housing to homeless individuals before addressing other issues like employment or addiction. This approach has significantly reduced homelessness in Finland and could offer valuable insights for Japan. Moving forward, solutions and reflections. Japan's homelessness crisis, though hidden, is far from solved. Addressing it requires systemic changes that go beyond surface-level solutions. Re-evaluating employment policies. The rise of part-time and temporary employment has created an underclass of workers who cannot afford stable housing. Strengthening labour laws to promote full-time employment with benefits could provide more stability. Expanding social safety nets. While Japan's healthcare system is robust, other aspects of its social safety net are lacking. Increased support for low-income individuals, such as housing subsidies or rental assistance, could prevent more people from falling into hidden homelessness. Reducing stigma. Cultural attitudes toward homelessness and poverty must change. Public awareness campaigns and education could foster greater empathy and understanding for those in need. Investing in affordable housing. Although Japan builds a significant number of homes, more targeted efforts are needed to ensure housing remains affordable for low-income individuals. Japan's near-zero homelessness rate may appear to be a triumph, but it masks a deeper societal issue. The hidden homeless, those living in internet cafes, capsule hotels, or on the fringes of society, represent a growing crisis that cannot be ignored. By addressing the root causes of economic inequality and challenging societal stigmas, Japan has the opportunity to turn its hidden homelessness crisis into a true success story. The question remains, will it take the necessary steps to create lasting change?